I almost died.
Yeah.
And I didn't know this. For people that don't know, I almost died. I was in the hospital in Denver, and I was there for 3.5 weeks. And there's people that have quadruple bypass surgeries that are in and out in 4 days. And I was there for 3.5 weeks, and the doctor told me I had a 10% chance of living. And then when I got out and I got better, they had lied to me. I was supposed to be dead. So my family flew in to say goodbye to me.
No.
And they told me that you have a 10% chance. And then my sister was like, yeah, they lied that you were supposed to die. So that's a trip, dude. When you experience something like that and then you come back to life, essentially, it just changes your whole fucking mindset, dude. Because you're just like, oh, I'm like now living on borrowed time is how I see it.
So how long, once that happened, because what you got taken, were you at a place and collapsed? Did something like, what happened?
I flew into Denver. I got sick at my hotel in Minneapolis. And then I was like, whatever, I'm used to that. I was throwing up like bile. Then I got on the plane, drank on the plane, threw up into my carry-on. So then I got off the plane. I'm like, shit.
That's
then
bad.
I hadn't eaten or anything. So I ate like,
were you drinking?
I just kept drinking, but I kept vomiting, and it was more and more painful. And then I had
dude,
a pain in my stomach, but I had a pain that was different. It was like pain, like fire pain.
Yeah.
And I kept trying to drink through it. And then I'm like, oh, something's horribly wrong. And I went to the medic at the airport, and they're like, oh, you need an ambulance.
There's a medic at the airport?
Well, yeah, they have like somebody, you know what I mean? I'm like, hey, something's wrong.
Wait, was it that express spa or whatever that,
no, it wasn't like a massage chair. I didn't sit there and like, no, I grabbed a human at a ticket counter, and I'm like, hey, something's wrong. And the guy looked at me and he goes, oh, you need an ambulance. They called me an ambulance, and I went to the fucking thing.
You got ambulanced out of the airport?
Yeah.
Where does it pick you up, at departures or arrivals?
I don't remember, but I think I would think it was departures because they thought I was going to heaven.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, Jesus was my pilot. He was like,
and did you have a beer at the airport?
I was drinking vodka and I just kept going and throwing it up. And I'm like, okay, I can't get through this. I drank a Gatorade, threw it up. I had a banana, some kind of food.
You were puking up bile.
Yeah,
what's after bile?
More bile.
And then blood.
Yeah, and then blood. So then it was blood at the hospital. It was fucking gnarly, dude. I'll never forget. Then I don't even remember a whole week. They were telling me about what I was doing. And the nurse was like, yeah, you were like throwing haymakers, trying to throw like.
You were watching wrestling on your computer?
I was watching wrestling in my brain.
Bad.
Yeah, it was crazy. But there's pictures of it. There's pictures of me with like, they had to like put mittens on my hands.
So you wouldn't drink?
Yeah, no, so I wouldn't pull the IVs out and shit.
Really?
Yeah, it was fucking bonkers.
So you went crazy.
Yeah, essentially, like I totally lost my shit. Yeah. And the altitude was a big factor in that.
What? Fuck no, it wasn't. Dude,
Yeah.
I love how like you tell these crazy stories. You're like, I drank 70 drinks. Again.
Yeah.
You know, you're like, but there were some Raiders fans there, and that's kind of the thing that made things strange, man.
Yeah, no, I drank a gallon of house paint, but there was a drizzle. There was a drizzle outside.
Yeah, it was a cloud. It was cloudy.
I didn't plan on like that happening. So,
but you think you could? Because you could, if you, because you probably. I mean, at that point, you get cirrhosis. Bad things happen to your body.
Yeah, I mean, I came really close, but I didn't. I mean, I'm fine now. I mean, obviously, like.
But so did they say you can drink again or you can't drink again?
Well, it was the doctor goes, if you have another drink, you're gonna die. So I was like, well, that doesn't make sense. But I'm like, okay. So then I rehabbed, and then got better, and then got really healthy, and then I went and got a checkup 3 months after, and the doctor was like, oh yeah, a different doctor back in LA. And he's like, yeah, you're fine. Everything's fine. And I'm like, what? And he goes, yeah, everything's back. Your liver's back. I mean, I was like really.
Your liver's back?
Hard. Well, your liver can rebound.
Yeah.
I mean, you can get to a point where it can't, where I've had a handful of friends where that's happened to. But I mean, you can push it, and then you've got to really dry out. So I did, and it was vitamins and fucking milk thistle, everything, just built back up. And then I still waited another 6 months, and then COVID hit and quarantine. I went to Key West, and I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna. It doesn't make sense. So I had a cocktail, and then I was fine, and then I drank again.
Yeah, I just want you to be okay.
Which sounds dumb. I'm sure people are like, you're a fucking idiot, but I didn't drink. I was drinking very rogue. I mean, I was just boom shots and just completely stupid.
Wow.
But now I'll I can have a cocktail. I can do stuff like that. But you do have to be really careful.
Do you think you can have a cocktail?
Yeah, I did. I told you I had like a cocktail when I wrapped this movie, Buddy Games Part 2, Hard R.
Yeah.
So we celebrated and I had a cocktail and it was fine. So yeah, it is interesting, with the levels of, what people can do, because some people can't. They have one drink and then they wake up in a fucking prison. And
I know, but most of your stories sound like that,
I know, but I don't know. Somehow I've made it knock on glass.
Oh, you're fucking, yeah. I mean, you're like the ghost of Fuddruckers past.
I am, dude.
You keep
I'm
going.
the ghost of future Chili's.
Hope you enjoyed that video, and you can watch another. And you can watch this one, you can watch this one. Different options, different choices. Some guy just brings you one option, not this guy. Two options. Watch one, this one or this one.